Hi there! In this video we'll be covering the first steps to writing a good book. Writing a book is about a lot more than simply putting words on the page. It requires deep thought and planning. Before you get started really diving into your book or you feel like you've hit a wall, definitely check out this video. By the end of this video you will learn the power of purpose, why research matters, and what it means to build a foundation of success. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. What is your reason for wanting to write a book? What do you want to accomplish from this book? If you can't answer this question, you're really going to have a tough time finishing your book and finding satisfaction in that process. You need to unlock these pieces now, ahead of time, as you really dive into this book, because it's going to inform everything that you do. If you want to, become a successful public speaker, you want to find a topic that's going to allow you to do that with the book. If you want to establish yourself as a business success and really take the next step in your entrepreneurial journey, you're going to want to write that book, not a book about traveling to France or something, You want to find the book that aligns with the goals that you want to have. That's not to say that your goals can't evolve, and they should evolve, I love when it's a moving target in a way, that there's opportunities that are unlocking as the pieces are coming together. But you really need to have a direction in place, and you really need to figure out what you want to accomplish even before writing the book, because you don't want to have to shoehorn things in later and say, okay, well, now I want to accomplish this. You can definitely write the book and then find you're very misaligned in terms of what you want to accomplish or the end goal, and have to fix things later. So this is really about being the most efficient you can be. But I find that when you have purpose, you will keep going. Think about the things that you've wanted more in life. Anything that you've wanted the most in your life, you will go through anything. You will go through anything to keep going to make it happen. You will not give up, even when facing with challenges, even when struggling, even when nothing seems to be turning out right. There's something inside of you that wills you, that powers you forward, that that this is worth it. That's what you want for this book. You want it to be felt deep inside, because if you don't feel it deep inside and you're just kind of going through the motions, what's the first thing you're going to do when you have a busy week, when you have a busy month, when you have a busy year? I'll come back to the book sometime. I'll get back to it. Because writing a book is so challenging, especially writing a good book being challenging, you're going to want to give up. Your body, your mind, your soul is going to say, not this week, not right now. And you're going to keep doing that again and again until you have this regret, this carrying around this burden with you everywhere you go of that book, especially when you start telling people about it. They're going to start asking you, how's the book coming along? It's been really busy. Haven't made a lot of progress. And you're going to keep saying that again and again and again until eventually you're just forget it. I'm done with the book. It's the worst feeling in the world. I've been there. I've done that. It's not fun. You need to have a powerful purpose and understand what that purpose is, because then you can speak to it, and then you can carry forward with it and say, okay, I'm having a bad week. I'm going to get back to it next week because I want to drive forward, because I believe in this message and I need to carry it. So it's so important to unlock that purpose right at the onset. Once you unlock your purpose, think about your book topic. What are you writing about? What is the thing? You're going to be spending a lot of time with this book, and you want it to be something that keeps drawing you in. The worst thing really is picking a topic you're not really into for the long haul, and then maybe you finish the writing, maybe you don't, maybe you publish it, maybe you don't. Once you publish it, you don't want to promote it because you're tired of it. You don't want that. You don't want to pick a topic that you're not into, or that is too much of a gap. You want it to be something that motivates and inspires and challenges you. I think about a book I wrote about a baseball player named Ken Caminiti. It was called Playing Through the Pain. It came out in 2022. And I was super proud of it. I spent 8 years researching this book and calling baseball players and just kind of embracing this story. And I miss the research element. I miss the writing element of it. I miss the pieces of it being connected to that story. Yes, it was nice to be able to let it go, because it was a long time that I was carrying this thing around. I think today, knowing what I know about book writing, I wouldn't have spent that much time working on it. Maybe cut it down to 3 years instead of 8. But at the same time, The reason I was able to keep going is because I believed deeply in that book, and I still do, and because I loved working on it. As much as it was a painful story about a guy who had some struggles in his life, it was so special to work on that. And I never felt like it was a chore. You know, it was something that inspired me and motivated me. You want your book topic to be something that motivates and inspires you too and keeps you coming back to it. You don't want it to feel like a burden or a chore or homework. You want it to feel exciting to you. Research, 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 research. Research comes through in the book idea phase. You know, it's one thing to say, I have a cool topic for a book. How does your book stand apart from every other book that's ever been written? You don't want to recreate another book that's already out there, maybe a successful one, because no one's going to read your book. You don't want that. It's going to be overlooked. Oh, it's derivative of this other thing that was more successful. Read this other book instead. You see that on Amazon reviews sometimes. Someone's like, oh, don't waste your time on this book. Read this other book. You don't want that. You want your book to stand apart. So you need to do research to figure out A, where the gaps are, and B, how your book is different. How is your book different from every other book out there? You know, so it's not like this, it's that. You know, it's not this thing, it's that. You want to have a comparison. You want to have a way to describe it, you know? Because if you can't do that, it's going to be very tough for you to get readers excited, to get other people excited, potentially publishers excited. You want to take the time to do the research to know why your book is different and why no other book is quite like your book. Your book is like a fingerprint. It's unique and it needs to stand apart from every other book that's ever been written. The next step when you think about the early stages of the book writing process is foundation work. You know, when you build a house, you start at the ground level, and a book is the same way. Do the planning, do the foundation work. When I'm talking about foundation, I'm really focused on the hook, which is the reader takeaway in one sentence and what they're going to carry forward with this forward from them, what they're going to learn from this. Again, in one sentence, be succinct. The audience, who is this book for? Because if you can't connect it to an audience, your book is going to struggle. And the outline, how is the best way to structure the book? It's super special when you can adjust and tweak the outline. There's some times where I'll work on a project for 1 or 2 years and come back to the outline and say, you know what? This doesn't work anymore. You know, I was working on a project involving multiple narrators, and, you know, I kept going back and forth on it of like every chapter back and forth and then every section back and forth, you know, and then the author I was working with, we ended up doing it differently where it's really kind of galvanizing around these sections where both of the authors are reflected in it. So it's really neat to see how a book can evolve over time, and that outline could change, you know, but it's great to have a starting point with all that foundation work. It's great to have a starting point. It's great to understand what you want at the beginning, and you can always change over time. If you want to learn more about the first steps to writing a good book, I definitely think you should check out my website. It's writeagoodbook.com. At that website, I have tips, I have insights, you can sign up for my emails. You can also book a call with me so we can talk about your book and your project and the first steps to your success. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.